Passek, Fly Fish Fanatic, and welcome to another edition of On the Bench with Sport Fishing on the Fly. Today we're going to tie a squirmy jig, let's call it. It's a super heavy jig pattern. Get this thing right down real fast, real quick. Down, especially, I found this one works extremely well in pocket water because it's so heavy, it gets down really quick. A Euro nymph, Czech nymph, this one. So let's get her going. In the vise today, we have, let me find her. We have an, there we are, Ahrex FW551 in a size 10. We will be using some Squirmy Wormy for the tail. For the body, we will be using some Semperfly Ice Straggle they call it brown, but I find it's kind of a dark red. And I'll be using some sticky back flat lead for the extra weight. And then I've got a molted pink bead, and I'm going to be using some Semperfly Nano Silk in red. Now, you've got a classic waxed in red or a different thread that you like in red. Use that. The Nano Silk, I unfortunately don't right at the moment have any classic waxed in red, but the Nano Silk you have to be very careful with because it is sharp. Like it will cut through this squirmy material, and that's not just Nano Silk. That's any of these. Sorry, I started with the thread when I shouldn't have. That's with any of these GSP type threads. They're just they're sharp. They'll cut through. So what I like doing is taking a piece of this is the sticky back flat lead. If you've got something else you prefer, use that. But I like going about the halfway point, and I'll wrap up right up tight to the bead. It'll actually even help hold that bead in place. And then I'll tear it off and make sure that's folded in. And then I'll put another layer, just starting just a little tiny bit back further. In this case, it's not critical that you get a nice taper because it's going to all be hidden by that ice straggle anyway. So let's get it there with my nail. There. Now start my thread. I jumped the gun. That moved up forward. Make sure that it sits nice and tight there. So yeah, get that in there nicely and make sure it's tight in. Using a bit of a different lighting system here, so I'm just learning how this new lighting system works. I'm actually pull them back a bit because I think it's a little too bright. Just getting ready for my semi-retirement, and I'm going to be moving and traveling a lot, so I'm just trying to find stuff. These are just little travel lights. So take my squirmy blasphemous material, and I'm just going to put it on right behind where I stopped with the lead, just so it doesn't add another bump. I mean, like I said, it really doesn't matter, but this will straighten it out a little bit, flatten out my thread. So one thing, if you're going to tie any of these squirmies with GSPs, just make sure you're conscious of what you're doing, that you're not tearing things, and that you're, flattening your thread often. So again, just come on back, and then I like going under the squirmy, right tight, and then over, and then back under again, and then back over. Just helps hold it. And then I'll just usually put this out of the way because I like cutting it after I've done my body. Just gives me a bit more of the length, allows me to cut it to the length I want it. I'm just going to make sure I get some of that center core caught in. Tie that in all the way back. all the way forward. And this also helps hide that sticky back lead as well. So I'm just gonna wrap this forward, touching wraps. Nice touching wraps. Just take your time, and every time, make sure you stroke this stuff forward. Now I know a lot of people don't like these squirmies and blobs and boobies and other things that are not traditional flies, but these work, especially in the rivers. They work well. I've caught fish in the lakes as well with them, but they're definitely more of a river fly lure, let's call it. Tip off your material. Leave that nice and scraggly like that. And then I will do one set of whip finishes right in there right now, holding all that material back. And I will take some Sally's or whatever head cement you like using. I like using Sally's purely two reasons. One, I like Sally's, it works well. And two, you can find it anywhere. I don't have to be near a fly shop to buy it if I'm not near one, right? So don't worry if there's a few little scragglers sticking out. It makes it look even buggier. It's a bit of an ugly fly, but a lot of times these ugly flies are the ticket, right? For now, I'll just take a piece of Velcro here, just roughly, just making sure that all those little leggies are sticking out. Done. Done, done, done. Like I said, kind of ugly, but it worked. And I like making them heavy. So now this, I like having it about the length of the body at least. So like there, you can always cut it when you're at the river and you're finding it in short strikes, right? So I always like having it a little bit longer. But that's it. Super easy. It'll ride like that in the water, right? Sorry, it'll ride because you didn't get to see that because it was under out of the camera view. It'll ride like that in the water. Even that's no good. But yeah, so it's like I said, very effective. I tie these in several color schemes, red, all black. I tie it in a green as well. I tie it in a pink. I really like it in a pink, right? It works really well in the pink. And I also tie one that's red like this with a shorter straggle. And then I put a couple of wraps of black right behind the head. It just makes it look a little bit more like the head section or the thorax section. So of an insect. So, yeah. But simple fly, ugly. Some people call it blasphemous, but what it is, they work. That's all that matters. So, hope you guys enjoyed that one. And thanks for watching another episode of On the Bench with Sport Fishing on the Fly.